I mean, granted, yes, it's Zimbabwe, but he bowled quite well, and I think that he's going to be very important to have for the World Cup in England. And I also enjoyed watching.
Hey guys, so welcome to the 19th episode of the Yorker. I'm Roey on the green Tommy Hilfiger shirt. It's Rinat on the maroon and Celtics beanie. You have Alfred Khan. He joined us earlier on in one of the earlier episodes, but now he's back after a long time. So welcome back, Alfred Khan. So we're just coming. Uh, we're just coming off the back of a really great series victory versus Zimbabwe. It was total devastation. That's what I think. The first match was, I don't know, kind of iffy. We still had our top order issues, middle order issues, but we came back resoundingly in the second and third ODIs, and all those problems just seemed to disappear. Um, and we were so comfortable after the first two matches that we could rest Miraz and Mustafiz for the third ODI and bring Abu Haider Rani and Ariful in their place. And Mash did his experimentation, whatever you call it, in the third match. He just bowled 7 bowlers, I think. So by the end of the whole series, it just turned out to be a total party. And does feel good. It does feel good to be a fan of the ODIs and a fan of the Tigers. It's good to see the team doing what they're supposed to do. What would be some of your guys' key takeaways from watching this ODI series that you're going to remember from this ODI?
I guess if I'll take the liberty to go first. In a lot of ways, this was probably the most boring series in a long time. I think Rinat would probably agree based on his enthusiasm or lack thereof for the tests coming up. But this was the first time that a series against Zimbabwe it was kind of meaningless for us, because every other time we played Zimbabwe, we were either trying to move up in the rankings or trying to or maybe it was going to be a competitive series. We didn't know. I mean, we've dominated Zimbabwe for the most part ever since 2005. But I mean, this series, for the first time, it was we knew that we were expected to win. We should win. We shouldn't really even lose a game. We might have a little stumble here and there, but it was kind of boring. And the other thing was that Tamim was out, Shakib was out, so a lot of the star power was missing. So to me that kind of made the series really boring. Because and I like watching Riyadh and Mushfiq bat, but they didn't really get much. They didn't have much opportunity to do anything in this series because the top three did so well. They came in face. Yeah, they didn't have much to do. So it was kind of a boring series from that perspective. I did enjoy, though, getting to watch Saifuddin, who, before this series, I was like, oh, this guy, he's not a bowler, he's not gonna be. But I was actually quite impressed with how he bowled. I mean, granted, yes, it's Zimbabwe, but he bowled quite well, and I think that he's gonna be very important to have for the World Cup in England. And I also enjoyed watching Haider. I think Haider bowled brilliantly. He bowled very well in that one game that he got on debut against Afghanistan in the Asia Cup. And it's unfortunate he didn't get another opportunity to bowl or to play. But I'm really excited about him. I like him a lot as well. So I'm going to let Rinat go in and put his input in on the ODI series.
I think you said everything that I wanted to say. It was a pretty ordinary series. I was excited to see some players that I haven't seen, that or basically that didn't get tested as much, and only one of them made the team until the very last. Only one of them made the team for the whole series, which was Saifuddin. I was hoping to see more of Abu Haidar Rani and Ariful Haq, and and that end, it wasn't very a satisfying thing. But either ways, we won the series, and losing each game would have cost us a lot of points. So I'm glad that they didn't take the game lightly. Um, I wish there was a little bit more of a dominance, though. But again, that's not. I'm not gonna be very picky and picky about this thing. It
Yeah,
was a
that
good
would have
series.
that would have been great.
I just want to add, like, Tamim and Shakib wasn't there, but even if they were there, I don't think they could have dominated Zimbabwe more than we already did. And that's my point. I mean, that's why I was kind of
Well,
happy.
the third match, yeah, we pretty much the only thing
Yeah.
we could have done in the third match was maybe bowl Zimbabwe out for 200 or 220, but that was a really flat wicket, and
Mush wasn't trying to.
I don't think he wasn't trying
He
to.
wasn't trying to. Yeah.
He wasn't trying to bowl them out. He was trying some part timers when he could have brought someone else in. I mean, Fizz was being rested. And Miraz was rested that game too. I didn't realize that, but I guess Miraz was rested. So, I mean, Miraz didn't bowl all that well in this particular series, but yeah, he wasn't trying to. I felt like he was trying to He's like, I hope Zimbabwe scores 300, and that way we'll get something to chase this series, and maybe have our middle order get some work in before the tests. But that didn't really happen because even though they got almost 300, the top order chased it all on their own.
Yeah, they did. Kai's was just brilliant. It might have been boring, but it wasn't boring for Kai's. That man had a lot of fun batting.
Well, Kaius is a boring player, even when he's batting well. In my opinion, that's my opinion. But I'm very glad that he's really turned his game around in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you asked me 2 years ago, even if you asked me like a year ago, I would have said Kaius, he's just a stopgap solution in ODIs. He's not, we should be looking at Shomo. We should be looking at. I'm not really sold on Liton. I can go into that more in detail, but Shomo, maybe Anamul. Obviously, Anamul hasn't done well. I would have said, we should look for another opening batsman other than Kaius. But Kaius is really, he's been here for a long time, so he's got the experience. He knows how to play, and his stats have been very good in the last 2-3 years since the last World Cup. He's averaging he was before this series. He was averaging over 40 at a decent strike rate. Now his average is probably close to 60. Because he also hasn't played that many games. So a couple of big scores, and he had 3 big scores. They'll really lift his average up. So, I like Imrul going into the World Cup. I would actually want Tamim and Imrul to be our 2 leading openers. Well, actually, I'm not sure. See, I don't know, because I want Shomo to be there too, but.
No, I think us 3 would agree with that. We would. I think Kaiser's kind of fixed right now as the partner for Tamim.
Well, but the thing is, I feel like Shomo has a bigger ceiling, but I feel like Kaius is more reliable. So which one do we go with for the World Cup? And right now I'm probably leaning towards going with reliability because it's the World Cup. It's going to be in overseas conditions. And Kaius, I mean, yeah, he may have some failures against good teams especially if the ball is swinging around. But then so probably with Shomo. So maybe have Shomo batting at number 3 because I'm not entirely sold on Shaki batting at 3. But I mean. I don't know.
Yeah,
we have a number of ODIs coming up to figure this out.
Yeah, we can talk about the selections. I also especially like what you said about Liton, all his deficiencies. I feel like Shomo has some deficiencies too. We can talk about that later on in a later episode. But it's just that we covered the first and second ODI, so it was only fair that we do the same thing for the third ODI.
Absolutely.
So, and that was that. It was a great resounding series victory. Now the tests are coming up, and what do you guys think?
Yeah, so there has been a lot of debate about the Test squad already. For the people that are following Test cricket, Bangladesh Test cricket, the selection has been pretty much a mess, and the last selection decisions that were made, is that's just like the big mess up. I think they're probably going to get away with it, but still, like the fact that the reason why we're doing so bad in Test cricket, I think selection has a big part to big role to play here because we keep selecting people for the wrong format. I think, especially for Test, and we keep going for talent over experience, and that's always a no for Test in my personal opinion. Uh, but yeah, like without Shakib, without Tamim especially, who's probably our best batsman in Tests, I'm kind of looking forward to how our batting deals with it. I hope that they are looking to build big innings. I hope they're looking to bat one innings in both Tests. I mean, that's
I would
how it
agree.
should be at this point. You should not have to bat twice against a Zimbabwean bowling attack that we have already just seen. So bat once, everyone that bats get a good run, get a good score on the board, and then let the bowlers do their rest. That's pretty much my expectation.
I would agree with that. I want to go a little bit about selection, if that's okay, with because Rinat mentioned it, and I would agree. I've been pretty disappointed with Bangladesh Test team selections over the past couple of years. I feel like I'm trying to think when it started. I'm trying to because our selection was pretty good for years. I mean, I know we used to always complain, but I would say, yeah, really only about 2 years
I'm
ago.
gonna I'm gonna stop you right there. We should
Sure.
do an episode right away, just on the squad, on the Test team selections over the
Okay.
past 2 or 3 years.
All
I
right.
think this is something that our viewers would love to listen,
It
and it's
probably, yeah,
something
I
it,
agree. I
it's
agree.
been an ongoing debate right now between fans. So if Alfurkan, if you could just go over the Test team right now and what do you want to see, especially from the bowling side of it, because I think we have some inclusions there.
Some new inclusions. So is this like, are we going over the actual squad that's been picked, or like who I would like to
Yeah,
see?
no, the ones that have been picked. We can
Okay.
talk about the prospective one on the other episode.
So I've got Cricinfo open right now, and I'm looking at our squad, the
Yeah.
bowlers that are in pick. Honestly, this squad is pretty good. I'm not 100%. I'm not really sure about. I guess we can start with bowling. About Opu being picked. I'm not really sure, but he was getting some significant turn and bounce in Taka in the ODI match.
Oh yeah, he was.
So, and other spinners weren't. So to me, that indicates he's probably ripping the ball, putting more revs on the ball than the other guys. And I think it was Eshen who said on the forum on BC, he was like, "Wow, we finally have an SLA that can actually like turn the ball," which is probably true. Granted, I mean, on turning pitches, Shakib and Taijul, they turn the ball also. So,
Yeah.
and that was, I guess, a turning pitch, the one in Taka. I mean, Chittagong it wasn't, and we saw Opu struggling in Chittagong in both matches. I think he went for runs, and he wasn't getting the turn on those pitches. So I think it's more a factor of the wicket than it is as a bowler. I personally wouldn't want to see him playing in the test matches, and I don't think he's going to get a go unless Taijul plays poorly. I think
Yeah.
Taijul, yeah, he's in the squad as well.
Yeah,
So
Tysol's
excuse
a
me.
test specialist, right? They always have him on.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, he's always playing. He's basically a test specialist now. And I mean, and he's doing well in that role, so might as well keep him there. As far as the pace attack goes, I would have liked to have seen Ibadat, but I don't know why he didn't get picked. I don't know what the reason behind it is, because he's always playing in these tour games. He's been playing in the Bangladesh A team, and he's done fairly well. He was, but I'm not exactly sure why he's not getting picked.
Who are the Pacers we got in the team right now in the test squad?
So the Pacers that we have in this squad, obviously, Fizz is there, and we have Abu Jayed, who made his debut in the West Indies series a few months ago. There's Shofiel made the cut somehow. He's always there. He's always around.
I don't agree with that. Is that what you're talking about, Rinat, when you're saying that you don't like the selections? Yeah. Because when you have guys like Shubhashis Roy, who's given a run his run should be extended because you don't know what you're getting with these new guys. We should have a sample size to
Hmm.
judge them on. And
Hmm.
when you just playing for 1 or 2 series and take them off, then I don't know how we're gonna build a squad that's gonna be just for tests. And these are just things that really pisses me off to the point where I don't even watch some of the games.
So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know about Shubashish, but like Schofield made it, and yeah, I'm not very excited about him being picked, but at least Rubel didn't get picked, as
yeah.
he so often has. That is the absolute pet peeve. That almost makes me want to not watch a test series when I see Rubel has been picked in the 15. So at least he hasn't been picked, thank God.
You know
He's gonna
what
be
though?
back. I bet you he's gonna be back for the West Indies series. I hope
Yeah.
not, but I wouldn't be surprised.
You know why I think he didn't get picked? It's just probably because he's still not 100% fit from his injury. Otherwise, I think if they could pick Schofield, they could also pick him. I mean, I
Yeah,
see no
they're
difference.
totally capable of picking him. But I'm
Yeah,
glad they didn't
Yeah.
because
very capable.
I still think Schofield. I think anybody is a better test bowler than Rubel. Um, I think any of
Uh,
us could do better.
I could ask you about Abul Hassan. I could challenge you on that.
He's probably better too. If he plays 20 tests, he'll probably have a better average than than Rubel.
Right.
They'll not
But
have a wicket
Hey,
anywhere.
hey, something I want to ask you guys because you always hear that you want those workman-like bowlers, those workhorses as your test bowlers, like Mohammad Shohid. He comes to mind, the guy with
mhm.
curly hair. We had he had a yeah, he had pretty nice action as well. Very sweet action.
He did have a good action, yeah.
Right. So, but then, so how do you identify these guys? Because I understand we have a huge pipeline of pacers right now. So maybe one strategy could be we look at the guys who have good stamina and just plug them into the test team and just tell them to go and do their thing. Uh,
So
Rinat, you wanna?
I think BCB thinks right now that they have the luxury of having all these pacers right now. I mean, they have a huge pool. None of them are very good at it, but they still have that. They still have a big list to pick from, right? So I think that's
yeah.
probably the reason why they keep, they goes in a circle. It's Schofield, and then it's someone else, someone else, Rubel, someone else, and someone else, Schofield, and then it goes like that. I think, right?
I just like
And
how matter of factly he goes. None of them are very good at it.
none of them are very good at it, especially at this format,
Right.
because none of them are capable of producing
Okay.
any kind of swing.
True.
They're not the paciest to cause any kind of trouble. So what else makes them effective? They're not very accurate either. I mean, really, they're just bowling fast. Or not even fast. They're bowling medium fast. So I don't think any of them are very good enough, other than
Okay.
Mustafiz.
Mhm.
Having said that, I'm actually very upset that they picked Mustafiz to play this series. There's absolutely no reason why you use Mustafiz to play 2 tests, make him feel like 4 or 5 days. That's just ridiculous. Like, why? I mean, you don't need him. And he is someone that we should be handling his workload. Playing a Zimbabwe test doesn't do shit to his skills, at least not on our subcontinent wicket, anyways. So I'm at that spot could have easily gone to someone like Ibadat. That could have gone to someone else, someone who doesn't play any other formats. Most of us could have easily taken a break. And you know what? Everyone's gonna be talking about it if he gets injured by any chance. Even though
Yeah,
it
if he
seems like
gets
I'm the only
injured,
one
yeah,
talking
that's
about
going to
it,
be a talking point.
people
I
are gonna be
still am
pissed off.
in favor of him playing just because he's one of my favorite players. And
Guys, maybe it's just better if you have completely different squads. In that case, 11 players for ODI, 11 other players for Test. That's what I want
We don't
to happen.
we
But
don't have that
I mean,
luxury yet.
I don't think we need a whole scale because you could have a
Yeah.
player who is good at every format or is a
but,
very
but
complete,
not that
well
many.
balanced batsman.
Not more than three. Like
Yeah, I
Mushfiq,
mean, yeah,
I'll grant that.
that's debatable. Yeah, I mean, that's whatever players you get. Like, so for example, like we have Thaijul, test specialist. We have Mominul, who's a test specialist.
Yeah.
Going out
Uh,
soon.
so that's two. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. Oh well, Abu Jayed if he
Abu
plays.
Jayed. Yeah.
Um, so we have three, and then I mean, yeah, maybe you could find a couple more in the future.
I think you should put Subhashish Roy in there.
He could be tried, I suppose. Again,
Yeah,
he didn't really
yeah.
get a very long run. I didn't think he was. But I mean, I guess he deserves more of a run than he got. How many matches did he play? Like Thaskin got a pretty good run, didn't do shit. So drop, that's fine.
Thank God.
Yeah,
I think we
Subhashish.
so
Not him.
I think we talked about the bowling quite a bit. Let's move down to the middle order, and also let's talk about the wicket keeper. Who's set to keep right now as it stands? In this
I think it's Mushfiq. I think he said that management wants him to.
I don't agree with that again. That's not good.
I don't agree with that either because he's more valuable as a top order batsman, especially with Tamim and Shakib out. He needs to bat at 4 and bat long and bat big. We'll probably get away with it against Zimbabwe, but against West Indies we may not.
So the way I look at it, I feel like if Imrul does well, and when Tamim comes back, I think they will try to put Liton back down the order, and then give him the keeping role. Because right now, if you get him to keep and then open at the same time, that just kind of makes it very hard. I personally don't want Mushfiq to keep.
But you're talking about tests, right? Or are you talking about ODI?
I'm talking about tests.
Okay.
ODI doesn't matter. In tests, I'm talking about when Tamim comes back. If Imrul does well enough to retain his spot as an opener, I think at that point you just drop down Liton down the order and make him a full-time permanent keeper. I think he's a much better batsman at this point than Nurul Hassan Sohan. So, he deserves to retain that spot because he can bat, and with keeping, he's pretty good too.
Nurul's test stats are not that good, you're right. But on the other hand, his ODI, the 2 games he's played, he hasn't done too bad. Especially it was in foreign soil in New Zealand. And he's got...
Well, I think Liton is a better ODI batsman than Nurul, but I don't know if Liton's a better test batsman than Nurul, because Nurul did have a pretty good innings down in the West Indies, and then he got out. He got a pair. He got a pair in the second test, but one of those was a bad decision. The second one, I don't remember, but one was the ball was going down leg given, and he had a review. He didn't review, so it's totally his fault. Right. But at the same time, that should not have been given out.
So that makes my case even more then, because you're saying he's a good test batsman as well. And I'm telling you, the 2 ODIs he played, the 2 chances he got, he's got an average of like 30 plus, and it was in New Zealand against New Zealand. So he had a half.
I think he had a half century in an ODI in New Zealand.
I don't think people should write off Nurul. I think he has a
place
in this team.
I'm not writing him off. It's just for someone like Nurul, who is above average right now, he needs to also keep performing in the domestics to show that he's on a consistency level. And this is something he terribly fails at. Like, he is so poor in domestics recently. So it just kind of makes you think that whether he has the touch or whether he's out of form for now. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's a valid point. Because if you're not scoring runs in National Cricket League, it's not going to get easy.
Everyone's scoring runs, where Shoaib is scoring hundreds.
Yeah,
you can't even score 50s.
Yeah. You can't even score 50s. And the same thing happened to Mosaddeq. Mosaddeq was averaging almost 70 coming in, and then the last 2 weeks he's done. He's scored jack shit. So, he has himself to blame for not being able, and that's maybe why he didn't get picked for this test series.
Yeah.
So
when Shakib and Tamim comes back, I do see some players leaving, and I would say Mahmudullah is probably the first one I would want him to leave. Even though
I agree.
He's my favorite player. I just don't think this is his format, and just ruins his reputation further.
But I have a feeling the management loves him, and they want him in the test team. They made him the freaking captain of this series, so it's going to be hard to get rid of him.
Man. It's so dysfunctional.
I think I know why. Because at this point, they would have anyone else captain than Mushfiq, and he's the only other guy that's left who can be the leader, right? Yeah. You can't just give the captaincy to someone like Miraz or Mominul or whoever, because it's just going to create it's just bad environment for the locker room.
Sometimes it can work, sometimes it can work, but yeah, I agree. It'll be a risky move to do that.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want Mushfiq to come back as a captain, so I guess it's a temporary solution. I want to see him leave unless he does significantly well, which I don't think he will. But then very excited to see Shanto in the squad. What do you think, Furkan?
Yeah, I like Shanto. I don't know if how comfortable I'm seeing him in the Test team, but I mean, sure, no, I really wish he had gotten all three chances in the ODI series.
Yeah, me
And
too.
that kind of didn't make a whole lot of sense. This whole rugby selection for the ODI series, sorry to go back to ODI, that completely blew my mind. I'm probably well known for being an anti-old person on BC. Like, I'm strongly against Tushar Imran getting a recall because I just don't think he's that good. Like, he's scoring runs at the domestic level, sure, a lot of people are, but he's too old. I mean, he's not going to be fit. He was not a very fit player when he was in his 20s. I highly doubt that at age 35 he's going to be fit enough to play Test cricket, regardless of the runs that he's scoring. And I don't think he's going to be scoring those runs even against Zimbabwe in a Test match.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends where you're coming from. For a person like me who thinks the squad should be as different as possible, I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of slots in my test team where I can put people in. So I
Mm-hmm.
always have the luxury where I can give Sharia Nafis to Sharia Imran. If they're performing well, I can always throw them in. Only in Bangladesh is pretty
And
unique.
and
But yeah.
and I'll just add a point to Tushar Imran's inclusion or exclusion or whatever. And but we'll talk about this more in the next episode. But
Right.
just on a short note, I think you have to realize that after playing Test cricket for 18 years, we haven't accomplished jack shit, and that tells you that the system that we have been going through of picking new players, of picking players that are more fit, uh, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked, and the thing is, the only way you get guys like Tushar Imran or Sharia Nafis or Naim Islam to improve on their fitness is to make them part of the pool, right? In our domestic setup, they don't even have the facilities for
Mm-hmm.
proper facilities to train. So that's the way to actually get them to do it. Because if that's the
Yeah.
only thing they're lacking is fitness, I think fitness is probably
Right.
the only thing that could be fixed in a matter of a month, right? Fitness is not something that it's
Yeah.
unfixable. Like
No, I
a
agree.
lot of other things can be fixed, but this
Yeah.
this can be.
Yeah.
So I am
And
strongly in favor of bringing
right.
some players to
And
balance the squad.
And regarding facilities, again, this kind of ties back to how much support each club has from their owners to get those equipments, and it kind of actually ties back to the whole marketing, domestic marketing episode that we did. But I haven't released that yet, but I've been saying that, but I'll do that pretty soon. But having said that, I think that kind of wraps this episode up. We
Yeah,
briefly get into the tests. We covered the third ODI, and like Rinat said, we'll do an episode exclusively just on the selection of what should be the squad, the starting 11 for the next
yeah.
test. So, anything else you guys wanted to add?
No, I think I don't think I actually answered Riyad's question about
Sure,
Shanto.
go ahead.
So I'm fairly excited about Shanto being in the squad. I'd like to see I want to see if Abu Jayed, because he was swinging the ball both
Yeah.
ways in the West Indies. I want to see if he can do that in Bangladesh because it takes a lot of skill to swing the ball in Bangladesh. Like we've seen even Trent Bolt and other players, maybe even Dale Steyn, they don't really swing the ball in Bangladesh. It's very difficult. You can get the ball to reverse, but getting swing with the new ball in Bangladesh is difficult. So I'm kind of interested to see if Abu Jayed can manage that. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if the conditions will allow for that to happen, but I just hope there's not going to be any rain. And I agree with Rinat. Bat once, put up 500, 550 declared, and then like give yourself you know plenty of sessions, 9, 10 sessions to bowl Zimbabwe out twice. It should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Agree.
Do you want to just Alfurkan, since you're here and we have never done this with you, do you just
Mhm.
want to go over a projected lineup that you'd like to see from the team we have right now?
Yeah, let me see. So my projected lineup. So opening, I would go with obviously Imrul gets one opening slot,
Yeah.
and probably looks like out of this squad, it's going to be holy crap, Mithun's in the test squad. I don't know how that works out, but
There's
anyways, but it
there's a
looks
lot
like it's
more.
going to
Yeah.
be Imrul and Liton to open,
Yeah.
because that's what management wants. And number 3, obviously, it's going to be Momino, so that would be my thing. At 4, I don't know if Mushrik's going to be able to bat at 4 and keep wicket, so he's probably not. So at 4, it'll probably be maybe Riyadh. I guess at 4, or maybe Shanto if they give him a debut.
Yeah, I would do Shanto actually.
Yeah, I mean, ideally I would go with Shanto at Riyad's the captain. So then, if that's the case, then probably Mushfiq will probably bat at 5. He'll bat at 5 or 6. Obviously, the higher up he bats, the better. So I would want him at 5. Riyad at 6. 7 would be. You could then like maybe slot Shanto in at 7, if I didn't already have him in the squad. So let me see: Imrul, Liton, Momino. 4. I guess I already. 4 Shanto. Okay. Yeah. 5 Mushfiq, 6 Riyad, 7. I guess Miraz could bat at 7. I mean, I think he's good enough to bat at 7, definitely against Zimbabwe. 8. I guess we put Ariful because he's the all-rounder. Ariful at 8. And then 9, 10, and 11. You're gonna have your Thaijul take 1 slot, and then I guess 2 seamers. 9, 10, 11. Yeah, Thaijul is a 9, and then your 2 seamers. So I'd probably go with Abu Jayed and the Fizz.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I would do differently is I would not play Ariful because I don't think he deserves it, and just having such a long batting lineup, it just gives our batsmen this luxury of doing whatever the hell. Against Zimbabwe, you shouldn't be going with 8 capable batsmen. You should restrict it as much as possible. So I would actually, since Khalid Ahmed, someone, even though I don't think he deserves to be called up that quick, but since he's in the squad, since we're trying to find a seamer for Test, I would give him a shot.
I'd give him a shot too. He's a big guy. And so I'd like to see if he can get some bounce because he looks to be about 6'1" or so, which is not that tall, but for Bangladesh that's pretty tall. I'd see if he can get some bounce. He says he can swing the ball both ways and he can bowl pretty quickly. I remain skeptical, but I would like to see him. So maybe. Yeah, heck, who knows? Maybe just rest the Fizz. No need playing him. Have Abu Jayed and Khalid Ahmed. Have the 2 local Sylhet kids play.
And then also play Nazmul just for the sake of it. I wouldn't play anyone but Shafiq.
Yeah, but I agree that that Ariful and who's
but
the
wait,
other one?
You kind of have to play Nazmul though because Shakib's not playing.
Yeah. Oh wait, Opu you mean?
Yeah, Opu. Sorry, Opu.
Opu?
Well, you kind of have to play another spinner because
Well, we have Thaijul, we have Miraz, and we have Riyad.
That's it.
3.
Riyad doesn't bowl a lot in Tests, right?
He doesn't bowl a lot. Maybe he'll bowl more if he's the captain. But I mean, that's true. You do need another SLA, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to see Opu in the squad, but if he's there, I mean, I don't know.
I would rather see him than Shofield. That's probably why.
But one point that you made a few minutes earlier about how Bangladesh hasn't achieved anything in Test cricket. I mean, obviously that's true. We're ranked where we are, but I would say the first 10 years, obviously, of our Test, that's like we didn't really deserve Test status. We were, and we were terrible. We didn't know what we were doing out there. Yeah. From 2010 onwards, we've been somewhat competitive, at times, but we really started getting competitive around like 2013 when Momino came into the squad and we had a whole bunch of drawn Test matches. We weren't winning because those pitches were very flat. We were drawn, but we were drawing matches, which we weren't being able to do even before that. But now, like, we have this template. We've got like this, what I call like, I guess the Sri Lanka model or maybe even the India model, which is when you're playing non-Asian teams at home, just make a rank turner and then just unleash spinners. And like, non-Asian batsmen, they're so bad at playing spin now. Like, whether it's Australia, England, South Africa, they're just horrible. They're worse at playing spin than Asian batsmen are playing pace and bounce. Like we see like Sri Lanka, who are not that great a Test team, and they're whitewashing teams at home. And I think that's the formula that we should follow as well. I mean, if everyone else is doing it, we should definitely follow that. So I think it's a matter of time before we end up with, and we only play 2 Test series, so I think it's a matter of time before we beat a big team 2-0. We should have beaten England 2-0. Like, we should have won that first Test in Chittagong a couple years ago. We only lost by 20 runs.
Yeah,
and then
we tend to do that a lot.
Yeah, we tend to do that a lot. And then Australia, yeah, we won the first test match, and I feel we got complacent with the second one.
Yeah.
And the batsmen played all sorts of shit, and it was Lyon's arm ball, and the strategy wasn't too bright either. We just kept throwing left-handers in for Lyon, and he wasn't beating them with his off break. He was just bowling arm balls and getting all of our lefties out LBW or bowled or whatever.
Right.
So that was a poor decision in my, but I mean, those kinds of things I guess will happen because we're not yet used to winning tests and whatnot. But
yeah.
I think that we're ready to make that leap now. So if we played a New Zealand at home or South Africa or even England or Australia, I would be willing to bet that we would win 2-0 because our spin attack is good enough to do that, especially if Shakib is fit. So that's just.
So I might have said that we're going to choose a squad in the next episode, but it looks like we have an agreement right here. So let me just go over. We have Liton. Did you say Kayas?
Yeah, Kayas, because those are the only other
then
bookers, yeah.
Movidul at 3.
Yep.
Shanto at 4.
Shanto.
Mushak at 5. Riyadh at 6. Miraj at 7. And
Opu at 8.
Okay.
That's my suggestion. Opu at 8. Aijul at 9, and then I would play Abu Zayed and Khalid Ahmed. That's my suggestion.
Yeah,
I pretty much agree with that.
Right. I think you kind of said the same thing, Alfred Khan.
Yeah.
That you would the rest of his.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I would give Khalid Ahmed a chance. You never know with these guys.
I mean, I want to see him play, but I also don't want him to get hurt.
Right.
So I'm kind of torn. So I guess, and then the thing is, like, well, we have Khalid Ahmed. Otherwise, then there's no point in picking him. And if you don't play him in either match.
I agree. It's very good.
So
good stuff.
So yeah, I pretty much go with that. I don't really want to see Opu. But then again, I don't think Ariful's bowling is going to be threatening at test level to justify an all-rounder tag. And as a batsman, I mean, I don't know if he deserves the call-up. I would have ideally liked to have seen Mosaddeq, but he's not around. And looks like he's in really poor form, too. So that probably kind of solves itself.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
Well, cool. So that does it. Thanks again. Alfred Khan for coming on.
Sure, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Coming on pretty soon again, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, me and Rinat will try to cover the test series.
All right, guys. So thanks for joining. See you on the next one. Peace. Bye.
Later.